Hi, welcome to another video on my Raspberry Pi 2 running Ubuntu and ROS, the robot operating system. Last time I managed to get a number being published by my robot PI pub publisher being read successfully by the subscriber, and to get to read the input from the GPIO. So now I can both run ROS, a ROS core, and I can use the GPIO. Now at this moment I only call the GPIO at the end, which is not my intention, because what I want to do is use this input as an input to the published data. So what I first want to do is relocate this here, then make sure that there is a piece of data. So let's say I for input is this content, and I copy this because I want to have both inputs, either the one or the other. But there is a catch, because I need to have it as a value in here, and 45 is just an example. And what I need to do, and I hope that that works, is to say a.data.insert, and then say element 0 I. I hope that that works, and then say okay, list it. And there's a catch, because I have to actually be sure that that is in it. So I remove this and I put this like such. So then let's see if my intention actually works. Save. And by the way, you noticed that I already have the camera working, so I can test with the switch. But let's first go to running the software, first the publisher, and it says immediately it doesn't accept it. I is not defined, while I define this. That means that I am going to comment out this and copy everything in here. So this will be commented out, and see what happens then. Save and run. Unexpected indent. Yes, I know. If and oh, this is not nice. It removes the indent. 1, 2, 3, 4. But how many indents are here? 1, 1, 2, 3. Only 3 indents here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This one goes here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Try again. And it has a problem with a data insert. Alright. Then I know that insert is used for arrays, but then I have to find how it should work. Now I have made a small error. I used square brackets instead of round ones. So as you can see here, it was 0, and I was a little bit confused about it, but this is a switch. So now I can actually show you what is going to happen if this window chooses to cooperate a bit. So I am going to start a publisher, and it shows 0. However, I take the switch. Let me see. Yeah, this way you can see the switch, and I press the switch, and you see that the data is and unfortunately the wiring is a bit flaky like it was last time. And I'm holding my fingers in front of it, and that's no good. Yep, there you see the one coming. So, and anyway, you get the idea of touching everything, of touching the switch, and then the value gets inserted into the array that actually actually publishes it. So now I'm going here to the subscriber, and then you should be able, if I get one here, and yes, you hear 1. And that is exactly what it's supposed to do. Now the next step is to get the subscriber to act on it by activating this motor. So I have this power motor, and by pressing the switch that should be activated, and I still have to connect it because this wire is not connected to anything yet. It has to be connected to the wire, to the flat cable, which is connected to the GPIO. So that has to be done first, and then I have to see to it that in here, in the callback, the GPIO actually says, okay, let's run it, let's activate the motor. And if you see how I have done it here, I will have to import GPIO here as well. So I am ending this run for now. Let's see what this is. Whatever, it's a warning. So just like I did here, I have to import it, the GPIO, otherwise I can't do anything. Then I have to set mode, which has to go somewhere here, and from here onwards I have to decide what to do. So let's find out. So I've made a little wiring mistake which I corrected, and I added the wiring for the motor. So let me see if I can show you. So actually this is the wire for the motor, this is the wire for the ground, and this is the wire for the 5 volts, and I mean this wire. So the publisher and the subscriber aren't running now, but what I do have to do first is making sure that this is working. So in the subscriber I have imported the GPIO. I have here I have made sure that the GPIO is according to the board, but what I also have to do, like I have done here, is make sure that the pin to which the motor is connected is actually set as out. So that will be GPIO dot setup, and then just like here, and then I have to use that is GPIO 4, dus so that is 4 as out. Is it the same? No, GPIO out. GPIO dot out. So alright, then I have to do in here if, and I can look at this part. So if GPIO dot output, and that's not quite correct, because I have to say data, and that's a difference. If this is 0, I have to do nothing. If it is 1, then I have to do something. And in both occasions the callback is being activated, and then it says I hear. So if data is 1, and I'm not sure if that will work, but we'll see, is 1, and don't forget the semicolon here, now the colon, and 1, 2, 3, or is that 5? Because I think 5. Then it has to be 1. GPIO out 4, and let's say hi. Let me see if this works anyway. The channel sent is invalid on the Raspberry Pi. Oh, that is interesting. Because here I clearly say setup 11 for GPIO in. So I need to find that out. With the output I made a slight thinking error, because although the pin on the GPIO is GPIO 4, the pin number, and that has everything to do with board, the pin number is 7. So I also have to use 7 here. And now let's see what happens, if it actually does do anything without an error. I forget another thing, because it has to do it for some time. So let's say for 2 seconds. And let's do it. And let's do this as well. I press the button, the switch, but I don't hear anything. There's no motor activity. So that is not working. Unfortunately. What I can do, of course, is see if this line is actually being used. So I say print data. Then I do know the if is being selected. So let's do it again. And I'm afraid nothing happens, even though there it is 1. So let's copy this. Well, not really copy, but let's change this. And I also have to keep in mind that this is indentation by space. If data is 0, then no, that's not correct, colon, then print no data, and then I make from this yes data. So let's do it again. truth be told, I do this without a transistor in the middle. But with 5 volts on my other Raspberry, I don't use a transistor either. It's directly coupled on the 5 volts. So the question is, this being a power motor, is that the difference? That's a very good question. On the other hand, I don't even see that the data is 0 or by means of no data. So my guess is that I'm following a wrong path here. So let's see how we can solve this. Alright, I have made a few changes during my research, and one of them is that I have inserted the log info in front of yes data, which replaces the print. This doesn't need it because it is a setting to a GPIO port, and this as well, and whether this is 1 or 0 or true or false doesn't matter, but anyway, true and false are more clear in language. Then both I have given sleep 2 for 2 seconds. The another thing is, of course, that I have changed the callbacks. I have split the whole information because if you look here, I'm sending them to two different speakers. Two different callbacks. So this is callback 1 from I heard and then something, hello world. Another callback, I heard a number. And here you see 0. And when I press them, and then it is very handy to have the subscriber running as well. Now it is running, so I say OK. And you see it respond after a second or so. However, this is not exactly what I expect to happen, because what I expect is that when the data is 1 yes data and the output set to true with a motor running, and that still doesn't happen. So my idea is, this is a string. Well, I am not sending a string from here, I am sending a number. Well, the equivalent of a number is D. Don't ask me why. It is the same in a language called C and C++, as well as C++. However, this brings a difficulty because, as I will show you, I have to end this for now. I made the changes, so I save it and then run it, and then you get an error because, as it says here, %D format, a number is required, not a tuple. And that gives a difficulty because here the robot PI I have defined, let me find here, yes, I still open it. This is an array. An array is a kind of matrix, whatever you can call it, and it has a tuple, 1, 2, 3, 4th, 5th element. So, but at least that is how I describe it. The problem is that you have to insert is as a data, and next you have data 2 and data because it is in data, and therefore it says sorry, a number is required, not a tuple. So with that I change it back to an S, so it handles apparently a tuple, with the result that I get the 1, though not consecutively, and I'm pressing 1 and I'm receiving 1, but still no yes data or no data, and that is what I don't like. So that still is a problem, and I have to find that out. Structure is a little bit better, but not the way I like it, in this way. By testing I made the discovery that I made a slight error. The point is that here you can see 0, comma, and I was testing at 0 only. So on both sides I put a comma behind data2.data, and now you can actually see yes data being printed. So it does work. However, the motor still is not working, and that is a bummer. So I'm starting it, and there's something else that I still wonder about, because as you can see the number is 0 but it says yes data, and if you look here it should be no data with 0, and if I press the switch now, and you can see here whenever I'm pressing yes, now it is cycling the 1, but for some reason it doesn't come over. And I wonder why. Okay, why isn't it listening to the ones? Because it doesn't register 1. Okay, those are typically flaws yet, but also at 0 it should say no data. Anyway, I am several steps further in my intention. The motor still doesn't run, but given the fact that it doesn't signal a 1, may be explainable. Also, I am trying next time to add a transistor to see if that is the solution to let the motor run. For now, thanks for staying with me, and thank you for watching. It's been a nice experiment, and if you like this video and like my other videos as well, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, if you like my blog and videos, consider to allow advertisements in between the video segments, or visit my website, which is listed under this video, for a way to use PayPal to make a small contribution, small donation, and this is certainly to be continued. So let me try once again if I get something which is listed here to get in the upper window, but apparently it doesn't work anymore the way I had it. So bye bye for now. See you next time.